like the scar of age, written all over.
Hey guys, welcome back to my manga animation tutorial series. This is the second video in the series where I show you guys how to animate. In my last video I showed you guys how to cut and redraw the manga in Photoshop. This one is going to be about animation in AE. No external plugins, you won't need any of that. Let's get into it. Alright, I've gone ahead and imported a song into After Effects. I think I know what I'm going to do with this cutout I just made. I'm going to make a composited edit of Vinland Saga. Now to import your Photoshop project into After Effects and then animate it, you're going to go to Import and File. You do that by pressing right click, Import, File, and I believe my project is in the Vinland Upscale folder right here. You need to have this on Composition Retain Layer Sizes when you import it. And then editable layer styles, you want that. So now we can press OK. Let's put this in our characters folder. We're going to open up the composition and then select these from top to bottom and press Ctrl C. And then in the timeline, we will press Ctrl V. And now you notice they're way over here and they're super upscaled. So I'm going to put a null and attach everything to the null. And just kind of drag these back to the center of the composition. Change the anchor point for the scale part of this. And we can make it a little bit smaller than the actual area of the composition, just so we can see everything we're working with, right? Now that we've done that, the very first thing we need to do is our hair. I'm gonna go through every single piece of hair and show you how I do it. The process is going to be the same for all of them, but this is without any plugins. Just keep that in mind. No plugins. We're going to go through all this. And since these are all pieces of hair, I'm going to color them brown so we know where our hair is. I'm going to color this peach for the head. The arms, I'm going to make blue. And the body, I'm going to make cyan. And then the eyelids and the eyeballs, I'm just going to leave like that. We're going to go through every single one of these one by one. Our first piece of hair, what I like to do is grab the puppet tool and then go to the top where we don't want the hair to move and place a couple of puppet pins to kind of keep it in place up here. And then where we want the hair to move, which would be down here, I'm going to place 2 or 3, usually 2 puppet pins, like say right here, and then 2 right here. Now my composition is 30 FPS, 1080 by 1080. Just keep that in mind when I talk about frames. Here, I'm going to go ahead and open up press U so I can see the puppet pin keyframes, and then I'm going to go 4 frames forward, 1, 2, 3, 4, and say I want the first movement to be downwards. So I'm just going to drag these middle puppet pins downwards for the first movement of the hair, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4 again, and drag these lower pins downwards as well. And now we're going to repeat the process but backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Middle pins kind of go back to where they were before, maybe a little bit further. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Same with these lower pins. Now I'm going to do copy and paste these. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 frames apart. And just keep doing that until I feel like I have enough. Right here I have a marker, so I know that past that will be enough. So right here should be enough. Now that I have these in place, you'll notice that the movement does not look good right now. And I'll show you how I make it look good. So very first thing we do is easy ease these. Move these top keyframes 2 or 3 frames back. I'm going to go 3 frames back. Select all of these and then hold Alt and drag this so that you're making it a little bit longer. Then drag this backward a little bit. And now the hair movement looks a lot more fluid. We're going to do that for every single piece of hair. I'm not going to bore you with me kind of going through and doing that with every single piece of hair. It's going to take a while, but if something comes up, I'll hit record again and I will show you. Now here's a reason for me to bring back up the recording. There aren't very noticeable ways of doing this large piece of hair here, so I'll kind of show you how I would go about it. Where I see strands offshoot, like right here, I would place 2 right here, 2 right here, probably like 2 right here, 2 right here, 2 right here, 2 right here, and 2 right here, and 2 right here. And then just kind of repeat the process that I would normally do, but I would make these move in different directions. And then just repeat the process. Alright, I've finished the hair. Here's what it looks like. I think it looks pretty good, honestly. And now we can do the other stuff, like the eyes and the eyeballs. So, for example, we've got the eyelids. We already know where they are, but just to solo them out, here's the eyelids. What I usually do for the eyelids is 1, 2, 3 puppet pins on top, and then 1, 2, 3 puppet pins on the bottom. And then let's bring up the head, just so we can see if we need to do some extra stuff, which I will show you how to do. I don't want him to blink for too long. Say it like goes to here. It does look like we're gonna have to put puppet pins on the top as well. So since we're doing that, we're gonna compensate with 5 on the top and 5 on the bottom. Let's go ahead and put a puppet pin here, and a puppet pin here. And then same for the bottom part of the eyelid. And repeat the process on the other side. Two and 3. All right, let's go sometime forward. I don't really have an exact amount. And then let's make him blink. These downward, and it's gonna look a little bit weird because of those pins we have at the top, but don't worry, fix it. Usually you want, whoops, something like this is what you want it to look like. And this actually looks good. Alright, I'd say those look like pretty normal closed eyes. Then we just copy paste the open-eyed part on the other side, and then F9 to easy ease these. Go into the graph editor and go to speed graph. And bring these middle lines inwards. So I highlight both of these, bring these middle lines inwards, and kind of make a graph like this. So that's what his blinking will look like. If you want it to be a little bit more realistic, you would bring these closer. But I don't really care too much, so I'm going to leave them a little bit further away. And now we have that. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it once or twice. That's fine. Maybe make this one a little bit longer. Let me make sure I don't forget to save this, and then we can move on to the next part, which would be the eyeballs. I'm going to put a puppet pin in the middle of each eyeball, which you don't have to use puppet pins for this. You can also just use position tool, but I like doing it this way. Actually, you do have to use puppet pins for this because we didn't mask the eyeballs out separately. So say I want them to look that way at the very end. Say I want them to look to the left at the beginning. I'm going to move these to left. That looks pretty symmetrical. And then say we want him to look to the right in the middle. Just move these over to the right until it looks symmetrical, like this. And now I'm just going to easy ease these and not really mess with the graph, because I don't really have any idea of what I want to do with the graph here. The movement is fine to me. And now that we have all of this stuff done, we can kind of just leave it on. See, this is animated. Let's go ahead and bring up the arms and the body. Now I want to show you what I do to move the head. I'm going to put a null where all of the hair is, all of the stuff on the head, which would be the eyeballs, the eyelids, and the head layer, and then all of the under hair. I'm going to attach it to that null and bring the anchor point about to the middle of his chin. And then press P and make a keyframe per position. Press R and make a keyframe for rotation. And I kind of wanted to go to this position at the end, so I'm going to drag these keyframes to the end. Now I want him to rotate from this side, so I'm just going to bring it this way. Compensate for anything off with the anchor point by moving the position over. And then again, you don't really need a specific graph for this. If we were making a transition edit, you would. But since this is just going to be like normal compositing stuff, you can just have them look like this. This is fine. Just want this slow movement here. Now that we have that, if we remove the body layer, we can see the arms. Maybe I'll just... This is not how you do arms, by the way. I'll have a full body animation tutorial out later. This is not how you would do it. Just say I want him to bring up the map a little bit. So I would make puppet pins like this, and then I would just drag this downwards. Now it just looks weird, right? So maybe we need one down here as well to kind of compensate for that weirdness there. Kind of keep this straight. And then just do the same thing where we easy ease the keyframes and don't really care about it. We don't want the movement to look stretchy when we want it to look natural. So normally I wouldn't really advise doing this. If you want to move the arms, I would recommend just cutting out every single part of the arms. But yeah, there's our animation. And then the next tutorial will be a compositing tutorial. See you in the next tutorial.